Did you know that some of rock's biggest legends were as notorious for their wild drinking escapades as they were for their iconic music? From Keith Moon's outrageous, chaos-inducing antics to Keith Richards' seemingly indestructible lifestyle, here are 41 rock and roll stars who lived life in a perpetual state of inebriation. 1. Keith Moon. Keith Moon wasn't merely a drummer. He was a tornado of chaos incarnate. Every night, he transformed hotel lobbies into battlegrounds of smashed furniture and blasted toilets, leaving a trail of delirious mayhem in his wake. One legendary escapade saw an inebriated Moon steer his car straight into a swimming pool at a London hotel, shocking onlookers and bandmates alike. On stage, his unpredictable antics, rolling on the floor, vomiting mid-performance, even seizing control of the crowd, spoke of a man whose unquenchable thirst for alcohol ultimately unraveled friendships and paved the way to a tragic, self-destructive finale. 2. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne's life was a macabre carnival of shocking stunts and ceaseless partying. With a penchant for jaw-dropping antics, like that infamous bat-biting incident, Ozzy turned every performance into an unpredictable spectacle fueled by heavy drinking. His backstage escapades were as wild as his onstage persona, with countless nights of booze-fueled chaos that almost derailed his legendary career. Despite nearly falling victim to the demons of alcohol and drugs, Ozzy clawed his way back, his legacy forever intertwined with a dangerous allure that continues to captivate and caution in equal measure. 3. Keith Richards. For Keith Richards, the bottle was as constant a companion as his guitar. Tales of his exploits, like the surreal episode of snorting his father's ashes mixed with cocaine, became part of rock folklore. In the feverish haze of the 60s and 70s, his relentless drinking blurred the lines between performance and pure anarchy. Richards' escapades, both behind the scenes and on stage, painted a portrait of a man who risked everything for a drink. His survival amid brushes with death and lawlessness has only deepened his legendary status as the unrepentant icon of rock's most outrageous excess. 4. John Bonham. John Bonham's thunderous beats were matched by an equally fierce gulping of alcohol. Known to down up to 40 shots of vodka in one go, Bonham's pre-show rituals were a perilous gamble with self-destruction. His unstoppable binging not only electrified his drumming, but slowly eroded his health. One fateful night, the tidal wave of alcohol proved too much, and his collapse on the floor became the tragic, inescapable end of a life lived at rock's most dangerous edge. A sobering reminder that even the mightiest can be undone by their own excess. 5. Nikki Sixx. Nikki Sixx's life with Motley Crue was a relentless spiral into the depths of debauchery. His days and nights were consumed by an intoxicating mix of alcohol and heroin, chronicled in his own raw diaries that detail near-fatal overdoses and chaotic benders. Each wild session was a dance with death, a self-destructive ritual that nearly obliterated his career. Yet from the ruins of his darkest moments, Sixx managed to claw his way back, turning a narrative of ruin into one of redemption, even as his early excesses remain a permanent emblem of rock's perilous allure. 6. Slash. Behind the iconic top hat and legendary riffs, Slash's nights were often lost in a haze of liquor-fueled debauchery. His long road tours became a blur of late-night Jack Daniels and unpredictable mishaps, sometimes even causing him to forget his own solos mid-show. The wild offstage escapades, where the line between genius and chaos blurred, cemented his reputation as a rock star who embraced the bottle with equal parts passion and peril. Slash's relentless indulgence painted a vivid picture of a creative spirit forever teetering on the edge of self-destruction. 7. Duff McKagan. Duff McKagan's era with Guns N' Roses was defined by an all-consuming battle with alcohol, once rumored to be a full gallon of vodka a day. His binging turned backstage corridors into gauntlets of near-miss disasters and on-stage uncertainties. A catastrophic incident with his pancreas forced a hard reckoning, catapulting him from the brink of oblivion into the hard-won light of sobriety. Duff's journey from the depths of self-destruction to a steady, redemptive path stands as a testament to Rock's brutal dance with excess in the possibility of emerging, scarred yet triumphant. Eighth, Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart's voice carries the grit of a lifetime spent in endless revelry and a secret reliance on heavy drinking. Rumor has it he even engineered bizarre routines, snorting cocaine through anti-cold capsules to preserve his signature rasp. His offstage nights were legendary, wild, unpredictable, and rife with spontaneous brawls and chaotic adventures. Stewart's continual flirtation with the bottle, though never derailing his career, became an indelible part of his mythos, a bold reminder that Rock's eternal rebel thrives on the thin line between brilliance and unbridled excess. 9. Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. Aerosmith's dynamic duo, Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, carved out their own saga of alcohol-fueled escapades. Their backstage world was a tempest of wild parties, lavish spending on vices, and spontaneous, near-catastrophic behavior that threatened to tear the band apart. Tyler's extravagant outbursts and Perry's stormy nights off stage created an atmosphere where chaos reigned supreme. Every tour became an all-out battle with the bottle, a relentless struggle that, despite pushing them perilously close to ruin, ultimately underscored their raw, untamed spirit and unyielding will to rise above the storm. 10th, Billy Idol. Billy Idol's very name conjures images of a life lived on the razor's edge. His notorious three-week bender at a Bangkok hotel, so wild that military forces were called in to restore order, became the stuff of urban legend. Idol's constant stream of unruly, alcohol-drenched nights fueled a rock and roll persona that was as magnetic as it was volatile. Each wild escapade marked by reckless partying and outrageous antics reinforced his image as a punk provocateur who danced dangerously close to self-destruction, leaving an indelible mark on rock's rebellious history. 11. Vince Neil. Vince Neil's life took a dark turn when his heavy drinking behind the wheel collided with the unforgiving laws of the road. A devastating car crash, driven by alcohol and resulting in the loss of a dear friend, became the turning point in his tumultuous career. With a blood alcohol level soaring beyond legal limits, his reckless indulgence not only led to a bitter stint in jail, but also marred his reputation permanently. Neil's tragic brush with fate stands as a somber warning. In the high-stakes world of rock, even a single night of excessive indulgence can rewrite destiny in the most irreversible, heartbreaking ways. Kaksi Toista, Lemmy Kilmister. Lemmy Kilmister's rugged image, forever inseparable from a battered bottle of Jack Daniels, became the very symbol of rock's raw, unyielding spirit. His daily ritual of heavy drinking powered his thunderous bass lines and gravelly vocals, becoming as iconic as his music. On stage and off, Lemmy's relentless binging forged a legend of invincibility, even as it slowly ate away at his health. His unwavering dedication to the bottle painted a portrait of a man who defied the norms, leaving behind an enduring legacy of brilliance tempered by the bitter edge of self-destructive excess. Trinasty Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison's every performance with the Doors was a journey into the surreal, fueled by ceaseless bouts of alcohol. His onstage rants and unpredictable outbursts, often born from the depths of intoxication, transformed each concert into a spellbinding, if chaotic, ritual. Morrison's public brushes with the law and infamous displays of erratic behavior only deepened the mystique that shrouded him. The tragic, untimely end at 27 remains a haunting echo of a creative genius lost to the relentless pull of self-destruction, his legacy forever stained by the bittersweet intoxication of his art. Trinasty Janis Joplin. Janis Joplin's powerhouse vocals were matched only by her relentless battle with the bottle. Clutching a bottle of Southern comfort as naturally as she wielded a microphone, Joplin's performances were a raw, impassioned outpouring of both talent and torment. Her nights were a blur of heavy drinking that ignited fierce, unforgettable shows and hastened a self-destructive spiral that robbed the world of her too brief brilliance. Joplin's legacy remains a poignant reminder of how the same fire that fueled transcendent art can also scorch the soul when consumed by unchecked excess. 15. Ronnie Wood. Ronnie Wood's tenure with the Rolling Stones was punctuated by long bouts of heavy drinking that seeped into every facet of his life. His offstage exploits, wild parties, impromptu brawls, and repeated stints in rehab told the story of a man locked in a turbulent embrace with alcohol. Despite the toll on his personal relationships and the constant risk of derailed performances, Wood's gritty resilience eventually led him toward sobriety. Yet the echoes of his riotous past continue to serve as a cautionary tale, a bittersweet reminder of a once unbridled spirit now tamed by hard-won lessons. 16. Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton's transcendent guitar work was often shrouded by the shadow of his own self-sabotage, a relentless struggle with alcohol that marred even his most celebrated performances. Infamous episodes, such as the Muddled Rainbow concert, underscored a reality where brilliant music clashed with the haze of inebriation. Each sip brought him perilously close to oblivion, prompting numerous interventions and a grueling journey toward sobriety. Clapton's battle against the bottle is etched into rock history as a stark reminder that even the greatest talents can be imperiled by the unforgiving grip of excess. 17th. Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop's wild, raw energy on stage was inextricably tied to a life lived in constant intoxication. His performances, rife with unpredictable, self-destructive stunts, captured the essence of a man fueled by endless rounds of hard liquor. The ceaseless binging that defined his early career often pushed him to the brink, blurring the line between visionary art and chaotic self-destruction. Though he eventually reined in his wildest habits, the memory of his alcohol-fueled exploits remains a visceral testament to a punk icon who dared to live and perform on the very edge of oblivion. 18th. Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher's creative genius was inextricably interlaced with nights of relentless, alcohol-induced fury. His infamous backstage brawls, often ignited by fierce, drunken disputes with his own brother, became legendary, adding an explosive edge to Oasis's rock anthems. The volatile mix of raw emotion and unbridled inebriation not only sparked epic musical moments, but also sowed the seeds of discord that would eventually tear the band apart. Gallagher's turbulent, booze-soaked escapades forged a legacy defined by both searing creativity and the inevitable scars of excess. 19th. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix's groundbreaking guitar wizardry was forever shadowed by nights lost in a maze of heavy drinking. The surreal interplay between his innovative brilliance and his bouts of uncontrolled inebriation turned every performance into an otherworldly experience, equal parts awe-inspiring and dangerously erratic. His relentless pursuit of oblivion in the depths of the bottle often led to unpredictable behavior that both mesmerized and alarmed audiences. While his music continues to shatter boundaries, the bittersweet legacy of his self-destructive excess serves as a haunting reminder of the perilous tightrope walked by rock's true revolutionaries. Debauchery. Bon Scott. Bon Scott's tenure as the frontman of AC/DC was a non-stop roller coaster of raucous, alcohol-fueled debauchery. His larger-than-life persona was defined by wild nights and outrageous stunts that left fans both exhilarated and aghast. Whether igniting the stage with electrifying energy or succumbing to the heavy toll of constant partying, Bon Scott lived his life at a perilous pace. His untimely demise, wrapped in the tragic shroud of alcohol-induced collapse, cemented his status as a martyr of rock excess, a reminder that the price of boundless rebellion can be as steep as it is unforgettable. 21st. John Lennon. During his infamous Lost Weekend, John Lennon immersed himself in a chaotic haze of ceaseless drinking and unpredictable behavior. The once pacifist Beatle found himself entangled in a tempest of public outbursts and raw, unfiltered excess that redefined his personal and creative identity for a time. Those tumultuous months, marked by spontaneous brawls and erratic escapades, left an indelible scar on his legacy. Though Lennon eventually reclaimed his path to balance, the dark chapter of his life, spent drowning in alcohol, remains a stark, cautionary tale of how even the brightest stars can falter under the weight of relentless indulgence. 22nd Bob Stinson. Bob Stinson's raw, blistering guitar work with the Replacements was forever overshadowed by his devastating struggle with alcohol. His unbridled binges sparked relentless conflicts within the band, turning what could have been a soaring musical legacy into a slow descent toward self-destruction. The constant pull of the bottle eroded his reliability and stifled his creative spark, ultimately leading to a premature and tragic end. Stinson's story remains a somber reminder that even extraordinary talent can be extinguished when consumed by the unyielding flames of addiction. 23rd Brian Jones. Brian Jones, one of the Rolling Stones' founding forces, was a brilliant innovator undone by a spiral of heavy drinking and substance abuse. His unpredictable behavior, ranging from volatile mood swings to mysterious, ill-fated nights, became emblematic of a man drowning in his own excess. Pushed to the margins of his band and found lifeless in a swimming pool under suspicious circumstances, Jones's tragic end echoes as a haunting lesson. The seductive allure of the bottle can erode even the most visionary of talents, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery and sorrow. 24th, Sid Vicious. Sid Vicious embodied the raw, unfiltered defiance of punk rock, a lifestyle fueled by a dangerous cocktail of heavy drinking and heroin. His every appearance was a volatile display of rebellious energy, marked by violent outbursts and self-destructive antics that blurred the line between art and anarchy. The anarchic fervor he unleashed on stage and off became a symbol of punk's dark, unruly spirit. But it also hastened his tragic downfall through overdose. Sid's brief, tumultuous life remains a stark emblem of how extreme excess can turn a revolutionary icon into a cautionary tale of obliterated potential. 25th, Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen's incendiary guitar work lit up stadiums, but behind the curtain, relentless drinking waged a fierce battle against his health. His marathon sessions of liquor-fueled creativity sparked conflicts within Van Halen and ignited alarming health crises, forcing repeated detours into rehab. Despite the dark shadow cast by his dependence on alcohol, Eddie's innovative spirit continued to blaze new trails in rock. Yet every riff and every high note carries the bittersweet memory of a man who danced dangerously with the bottle, leaving behind a legacy of both breathtaking genius and the scars of relentless excess. 26th, Elvis Presley. In his later years, Elvis Presley's luminous reign began to dim under the weight of a more insidious vice. Though not as overtly wild as some of his peers, the king's habitual drinking, compounded by dangerous prescription medications, quietly eroded his once mighty stage presence. Late-night parties and solitary sips became a somber routine that gradually chipped away at his health and vitality. The slow, painful decline that followed is a stark reminder that even icons can be undone by the silent, corrosive grip of alcohol, leaving behind a legacy forever tinged with both glory and sorrow. 27th, Jerry Lee Lewis. Jerry Lee Lewis's electrifying performances were fueled by a seemingly bottomless well of wild, reckless energy and an unyielding devotion to heavy drinking. His offstage life was a kaleidoscope of outrageous stunts, including a notorious car crash into Graceland's gates while intoxicated, which epitomized his daredevil persona. Constantly flirting with disaster through boozy escapades and tumultuous personal affairs, Lewis personified the raw, untamed spirit of rock and roll. Even as his genius shone through his raucous live shows, the ceaseless excess of his lifestyle cast a long shadow, forever marking him as a cautionary tale of wild abandon. 28th, Joe Walsh. Joe Walsh's early years with the Eagles were a desperate scramble to mute stage fright with a relentless cascade of alcohol. His inebriated state turned every live performance into a perilous balancing act between brilliance and chaos. A dramatic intervention by former bandmates forced Walsh to confront his inner demons, setting him on a rigorous journey to sobriety. Today, his story of redemption stands as a powerful beacon of hope, a reminder that even those once teetering on the brink of self-destruction can rise again, reborn and resolute, after battling the consuming forces of the bottle. 29th, Liam Gallagher. Liam Gallagher's presence with Oasis was a volatile cocktail of raw energy and relentless alcohol-fueled aggression. His infamous public brawls, often erupting in the wake of heavy drinking, became a defining trait of his larger-than-life persona. The constant barrage of drunken outbursts and fiery confrontations painted him as both a captivating showman and a dangerous force of nature. Though his wild antics sometimes overshadowed his musical talents, Gallagher's uncompromising attitude and untamed spirit ensured his place in rock history as a man for whom the bottle was both muse and mayhem. Trio, David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth's flamboyant stage antics were only matched by his notorious after-hours escapades steeped in heavy drinking. His every performance was a spectacle, a blend of dazzling theatrics and unpredictable behavior that often spilled into chaos. Off-stage, the never-ending party lifestyle, marked by relentless booze binges, strained relationships, and sowed discord within his band. Roth's legendary excesses encapsulate the duality of rock stardom, a mesmerizing blend of showmanship and self-destruction that both enchanted audiences and ultimately paved the way for turbulent splits and bittersweet reunions. Johnny would stay out late, visiting bars and parties with his friends, and his life turned into a dangerous cycle of drinking and poor health. His bandmates and friends often worried about him because he missed rehearsals and important events. Sadly, the heavy drinking eventually led to serious health problems, and Johnny died from complications related to alcohol abuse. His story teaches us that even if partying and drinking seem fun at first, too much alcohol can damage your body and your future. It reminds us always to be careful and to take care of ourselves. 32. Ronnie Van Zant. Ronnie Van Zant was the lead singer of the band Lynyrd Skynyrd, and he was known for his amazing energy and strong voice. He loved music and spent many nights partying with his friends. Ronnie often drank a lot of alcohol, and his nights were filled with many drinks that lasted until late in the morning. His heavy drinking made him very passionate on stage, and it helped him sing with a lot of emotion. However, it also sometimes made him act in ways that were unpredictable and even dangerous. Off stage, his constant drinking made it hard for him to think clearly, and he sometimes got into trouble because he could not control his actions. His wild nights with many drinks led to arguments and made it difficult for him to plan for the future. Sadly, Ronnie's habit of drinking too much was one of the reasons that his life took a tragic turn. He died when his band was at the height of its success, and his death was a very sad reminder of the dangers of too much alcohol. Ronnie Van Zant's life shows that even someone very talented can be hurt by overindulgence, and it reminds us all to be careful with alcohol. 33rd, Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley was the famous guitarist for the band Kiss, known for his cool stage costume and amazing guitar solos. Off stage, Ace loved to party and drink a lot of alcohol. He would spend long nights at parties and in clubs, where he drank many glasses of his favorite drinks. Sometimes he would drink so much that his behavior became strange and unpredictable. His heavy drinking sometimes caused problems for his band because he would act out or miss rehearsals. Even though Ace was very talented on the guitar, his drinking made it hard for him to work well with others and sometimes even cause fights. His wild lifestyle meant that he often did not take proper care of his health, and his energy would drop after long nights of heavy drinking. Over time, this constant partying took a toll on him, and he missed many opportunities to create more music. Ace Frehley's story shows that even very creative and talented people can have problems when they drink too much. His life reminds us that while it is fun to celebrate and have a good time, it is also very important to take care of ourselves and know our limits. 34th, Phil Lynott. Phil Lynott was the lead singer and songwriter for the band Thin Lizzy. He was known for his strong, creative mind and for writing many famous songs. However, Phil also had a big problem with drinking. He often drank many glasses of alcohol every day, and this habit became a big part of his life. The drinks sometimes gave him ideas for his songs and made him feel very creative, but they also made him very tired and weak over time. His heavy drinking affected his health and made it hard for him to work as well as he could. Phil spent many nights at parties and in bars where he would drink until he was very drunk. His friends and family often worried about him because he did not take care of himself. Sadly, his constant drinking eventually made him very sick, and he died much younger than he should have. Phil Lynnett's story is a reminder that even people with amazing talents can be hurt by too much alcohol. It shows us that we must be careful with our habits and always look after our health, no matter how talented or creative we are. 35th, Captain Beefheart. Captain Beefheart was a unique musician known for his unusual and creative style. He made music that was very different from most other bands, and he loved to experiment with sounds and ideas. However, Captain Beefheart also had a serious problem with alcohol. He would drink a lot, both at home and in the recording studio, where he worked on his special music. His heavy drinking made him behave in unpredictable ways and often caused trouble with the people he worked with. Many times the alcohol would make him act in ways that confused his bandmates and led to arguments. Despite his creative talent, the constant drinking made his life very chaotic and difficult. His friends and co-workers sometimes had to help him calm down after long nights of partying. The problems caused by too much alcohol meant that he did not always reach his full potential as a musician. Captain Beefheart's story teaches us that, while it is important to be creative and think outside the box, it is also very important to take care of ourselves. 36. Shane MacGowan. Shane MacGowan was the lead singer of the band The Pogues and was known for his rough voice and wild style. He loved music and was very good at performing, but he also had a big habit of drinking too much alcohol. Shane would often spend his nights in bars drinking many glasses of his favorite drinks. His heavy drinking made him very unpredictable. Sometimes when he was very drunk, his speech would become very slurred, and he would have trouble remembering his songs or his words during interviews. His friends and bandmates were often worried about him because he would get into trouble when he drank too much. The more he drank, the more his behavior would change, and he sometimes acted in ways that were not safe. Over time, this habit affected his health and his ability to perform at his best. Shane MacGowan's life shows us that even if you are a very talented musician, drinking too much can cause big problems. His story reminds us that it is important to know our limits and to make choices that keep us healthy and happy. 37th, James Hetfield. James Hetfield is one of the lead singers and guitar players for Metallica, a very famous heavy metal band. In his early years, James had a big problem with drinking too much alcohol. He would drink many glasses of alcohol before shows, and sometimes he drank so much that he lost control during performances. This heavy drinking made him clumsy on stage and caused him to make mistakes during his songs. His behavior became a concern for his bandmates and his fans because it sometimes led to near accidents during concerts. Realizing that his habit was hurting his health and his music, James decided to get help. He went to a special program where he learned how to manage his drinking and take better care of himself. Today, James Hetfield is much healthier and continues to perform with Metallica, but he always remembers the difficult times when he was controlled by alcohol. His story is an important lesson that even the strongest rock stars must sometimes face their problems and change their ways. It reminds us that it is possible to overcome bad habits with help and determination. 38th, Dave Mustaine. Dave Mustaine is known as the leader of the band Megadeth and was once a member of Metallica. In his early career, Dave struggled with a serious problem. He drank too much alcohol. He would often go on long drinking sprees, consuming many glasses of alcohol in one night. This heavy drinking made him very angry and unpredictable. His behavior led to many public arguments and even cost him his spot in Metallica. Dave's wild nights were filled with loud fights and risky choices that hurt his reputation and his health. After many problems and several visits to treatment centers, Dave decided to change his life. He worked hard to stop drinking and to control his anger. Today, Dave Mustaine is much more focused, and he continues to make music with Megadeth. His story shows that even if someone makes big mistakes because of alcohol, it is possible to turn things around with hard work and determination. It is a lesson that reminds us to always try to do better and to ask for help when we need it. 39th, Greg Allman. Greg Allman was one of the famous voices in the band, the Allman Brothers Band. He was a gifted musician and singer, but he also had a big problem with drinking. Night after night, Greg would drink many glasses of alcohol. This heavy drinking sometimes made him feel very happy for a little while, but it also made him very tired and sick over time. His constant drinking led to problems with his health, and he would sometimes miss important shows or have trouble with his friends and bandmates. Even though the alcohol might have helped him feel creative for a short time, it slowly took away his strength and energy. Greg's life shows us that even if you are very talented and make great music, too much drinking can hurt you in the long run. His story is a sad reminder that we must take care of our bodies. It teaches us that while having fun is important, we must also be careful about how much we drink so that we can stay healthy and enjoy life for a long time. Keelan's Benedict, Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde is a well-known guitarist who played with Ozzy Osbourne and later formed his own band, Black Label Society. In his early career, Zakk loved to party and drink alcohol almost every night. He would often go to many bars and clubs during tours, where he drank many glasses of beer and hard liquor. His nights of heavy drinking sometimes made him act in wild and unpredictable ways. This behavior sometimes caused problems with his friends and bandmates, and it made touring very difficult. The constant drinking affected his health, and he began to feel the negative effects of alcohol on his body. Over time, Zakk had to learn to cut back on his drinking so that he could take better care of himself and continue playing music. His story shows that even very talented musicians can face hard times when they drink too much. It reminds us that it is important to find a balance between enjoying life and staying healthy. Zakk Wylde's journey teaches us that change is possible if we decide to make better choices. 41st, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones. Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones were the three core members of the legendary band Led Zeppelin. Together, they created some of the most famous rock music in history. Off stage, the trio was known for their love of celebrating after big concerts. They often spent long nights partying in hotel rooms, sharing many drinks with friends. Each of them would have several glasses of alcohol, and their nights were filled with laughter, music, and wild stories. However, the heavy drinking sometimes made their nights very chaotic. They would argue and sometimes find it hard to work together because the alcohol made them act unpredictably. Even though these nights of drinking were part of the fun of being rock stars, they also had a darker side. The long hours of drinking and partying sometimes affected their creativity and their health. Their story shows that even when you are very successful and make amazing music, too much alcohol can lead to problems. The tale of Led Zeppelin reminds us that balance is important. It is a lesson that even in the world of rock and roll, taking care of yourself is always important.